Do you like this rule change?
Absolutely, yes. I want to be very clear about this. There's an old expression, the perfect is the enemy of the good. So if you want to criticize the rule, you will find proper criticism. But let me tell you how I think the rule should be applied, even if it's not perfect. I'm sitting on my couch every Sunday. I know the right call 9 times out of 10, having seen replay within 15 seconds. I see one angle, I see another angle, got it, let's go. That's how they should do it, with no extra time. Now, they won't get it perfect. They'll screw it up sometimes. The question is, will the call be more right than it is now? Duh, obviously. You have the hindsight of multiple angles and a few extra seconds, but that's it. You give them a few extra seconds. Like, it should not extend the game. It should not add time to the game. It doesn't need to. If I can get it right on my couch in 15 seconds, then certainly an official whose job it is to review the footage can get it right. It will be imperfect, but it'll be better than what we have now. Do it.
Well, I definitely think that they should do it. I like the fact that in the final 2 minutes of each half, the calls are subject to booth review. I want to know what dictates booth review. Like, for example, I mean, how does the booth decide to do it? Because you see Sean Payton running down the sidelines, you know, going off and acting crazy because, oh, my God, you missed that call. As flagrant as it was, and he had every right to be furious over it. I think that Sean Payton has been a bit excessive in all of this because even though chances are it cost him a berth to the Super Bowl, this man has had Drew Brees since he's arrived in New Orleans. You won a Super Bowl in 2009. You ain't been back since with Drew Brees as your quarterback. So there's a lot of years that you didn't have the luxury.
And he was the beneficiary of a missed call in the previous possession.
How about that? So let's keep all of that in its proper perspective. I'm totally for reviewing the calls. And I said before they made this decision, my position was clearly simple. I don't think anything should be in terms of offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference. I don't, personally speaking, I know they can challenge it for the first 28 minutes of each half. My mentality is that nothing should be subject to review until the last 2 minutes of the half and of the game. That's my personal opinion. But if they want to go this, particularly since it's only for the 2019 season, to sort of experiment to see how this is going to work out, how much it will delay the game, if at all, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But it better not delay the game significantly because we're already annoyed by seeing too much time being spent on replay review or, you know, instant replay review and all of that stuff. So it better not have a negative effect in that regard. But I support this experimentation for the 2019 season.
Yeah, I agree with you both. I mean, this rule is groundbreaking, but I think going back to the situation of what happened in that NFC Championship game, I think that had to be the biggest goal of the entire league, was making sure that didn't happen again. That the officials had the rule in place to avoid this mistake again. So inside 2 minutes, you have that. This is reviewable, you fix it. Now the coaches even have that expanded replay of using it during the first 28 minutes of each half. I think this is I like the trial basis, but I think this is just the beginning to where the coaches will have the opportunity to use replay amongst even more subjects and even more calls or non-calls throughout the course of the half. I do not think game pace or pace of play is going to be affected because as long as those coaches still just have those 2 flags to throw and then the bonus 3rd flag, if they get those 2 correct, more strategy is now coming in for these coaches in terms of what they need to challenge, what calls they need to challenge. Because PI, you got to think about it. This is a 10-yard penalty. This is a 60-yard penalty. This is a Hail Mary into the end zone, and then you get it on the 1-yard line. All right, it can affect the game so greatly. This is something that had to be done in that situation in New Orleans. Possibly, hopefully, will never happen again.
Yeah, look, the NFL is the NFL, the #1 league, largely because they've been more willing to change things on the fly and experiment than baseball or basketball, than the NBA or MLB. In fact, read Sal Powell's book, How Football Explains America, right? Like, he talks about it. The reason football exists, the rules committee, really started by inventing football. They took soccer matches in colleges, in the Ivy Leagues. Why isn't anyone coming to see this stuff? why don't we try to make it better? That's how American football came to be. They got together and started just changing the rules. The NFL has always been this way. As much criticism as they get, they are quicker to change things, even traditions that people like, than other leagues, and that's partly the reason for their success. They adapt to the times.
I even think that it's possible that coaches will start to find a way to, I mean, even now, I don't want to say take advantage, but getting things right in terms of more deep passes down the field within the first 28 minutes of the game, because if it's not called, now I can throw the flag. So, I mean, even Hail Mary situations, are they used more regularly? Because you know how it is in a Hail Mary situation, because it's almost like a wrestling match down there and it's not called. Then can I challenge that? So there's strategy that comes into this if you have all of your timeouts, if you have both of your challenges still, if it's outside of 2 minutes, how does it affect my play calling because of this new rule? Coaches will think of this and how it can be used.